Hi, I'm Nikki, and I'm the marketing specialist with Boost Midwest. And today we have the opportunity to introduce Bob Weiss, the CEO and founder of Notiphy. Bob, if you would take a minute and just introduce yourself, your business, kind of like what you do and what Notiphy does, and we'll start from there.
Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate it. So I had a long history in the collaboration space, working with companies and selling products like Zoom, like we're on right now, and spent about over 20 years in that space, and decided after I was leaving that industry that I wanted to start up something on my own. So had an opportunity to work with some partners in the industrial workspace, manufacturing, and look at what workers, on the manufacturing floors were doing. And we saw there were challenges in terms of collaboration, the ability to communicate with each other. And so we set out to create some products that were good for those workers because they didn't really have email and couldn't pull out their mobile phones. And we were using things like tablets and different things, but we saw even bigger problems. We saw the use of paper, the ability, no way to record work execution, to work inside of digital products, to save data. And so we created Notiphy, which is a SaaS platform that's really a work execution platform and allows workers to execute their jobs, tasks, standard operating procedures. I mean, any of that kind of work inside our platform, as opposed to doing everything on paper. But along with that, you do also get the ability to alert people when you need them. So you don't have to leave your workspace and go look for paper or go look at or get subject matter experts. You can also deliver them content. So you don't have to leave and go find manuals and things. You can deliver multimedia videos, pictures, things like that. So people have all the information at their disposal. It makes them safer, more productive, more efficient, but it also is giving management all of the data that they're accumulating in their job, all of the timing data, what they did, where they did it, how long each task took. And so they're getting a tremendous amount of labor efficiency data that they never had before.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's nice to have everything streamlined in one space so everybody can find everything. So that's fantastic. And then what would you say some of the recent changes that you've seen within your industry and business that really excites you now that everything is streamlined?
The change that excites me sort of in some ways comes with a change that is difficult, right? I mean, a difficulty. I mean, COVID's impacted a lot, and people are having problems in every industry with people, hiring people, losing people. And what excites me, though, is this obviously puts a strain on the companies that we work with. But what does excite me is I am seeing an openness, maybe because of some of this, to technology, to digitization, to allowing workers to use more technology on the floor. And so that's something that really does excite me, and I think is very exciting for our company.
That's great. And it's literally real-time data that these managers are getting from their employees. So I think that's so awesome. So I'm curious a little bit about Notiphy as a whole. So if you could give us a little idea on how your team works towards delivering the best services to your clients each day, and what makes your team great, basically, with all the changes going on and going a little more digital, obviously.
In all of my years, I mean, I would not consider myself a technology expert. I'm not a CTO, a chief technology officer. I'm not a coder. But I had, in my 20 years, I ran a number of technology companies. And what I do think I was very good at, I was good at putting myself in the shoes of my customers and realizing that no matter how easy you felt the technology was, that many of them, sometimes most of them, were not always going to find it easy, and it was going to be different and new to them. And so my team and I do a very good job of putting ourselves in the shoes of our customers. When we are creating our product, ease of use is paramount, right? I mean, you're dealing with a lot of workers who have been doing the same thing for many, many years, and now you're asking them to do something different. So it has got to be really simple for them and easy, and they're trying to also manufacture things and do different things
Right.
on the floor while they're trying to do this work. So it's got to be easy for them. So working as a team to do that, working as a team collaboratively, so everybody has that same sort of philosophy together, and just working collaboratively towards those customer goals, I think is what is really making my team great. I mean, we're still a small team, so the ability to collaborate is not as hard as if we were a much bigger team and all over the place.
Right. Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, people have been doing things so manual for so many years, and then to put technology in their hands is, obviously you have some who are very tech savvy, and then there's going to be some who don't like the tech world because they feel it's, like you said, very different.
Right.
And you also mentioned that you have a small team. So with that said, and going in with the clients, what are any particular KPIs, key performance indicators,
Yep.
that you and your business use every day, month, or even year? And how do you go about picking those?
So we have very adaptable and flexible technology. So you can use us in almost any area of the supply chain where there is paper being used, standard operating procedures, work that needs to be, or data, that needs to be accumulated inside of those tasks or processes. So some of those KPIs, it does depend on what you're using us for. I mean, in a lot of ways, we're really helping our customers scale and grow.
Yeah.
But maybe doing it with some fewer employee hours. Now, we don't look to replace employees, but we realize that there is a difficulty in getting a lot of people. And I think using our product, you don't need as much some of the supervisory employees over, standing around and sort of overseeing what everybody's doing and standing on top of each other. I mean, we've been able to help our companies grow without, having to bring on all of the different kinds of people that maybe they had before. So you're cutting your costs in some of those areas, training costs, retraining costs, because we're delivering a lot of that information to the people on the floor that they can access while they're doing their work if they need that information. Retention and the cost of hiring. I mean, that's another KPI that a lot of our customers are looking at. But as much as anything, it really does come down to labor efficiency. It comes down to the time that it takes to do the work, the understanding that the time that it takes to do the work. So the true cost of building a product, or the true cost of pick, pack, and load in a warehouse, understanding that cost, it allows you to then kind of move the ball forward and change your efficiency numbers so you can continuously always look to get better.
Yeah, that's great. I think you hit three things on the head very well. One is I don't think some people realize overhead cost can be extremely high. But then using Notiphy, you're streamlining data and processes. And then on top of that, it's creating way more productivity going on within those companies. So I think that's great, just being able to, and like you mentioned, like you're not taking away anyone's roles, you're just streamlining it and making them more productive, given those positions that are no longer just essentially, quote, standing around and making sure those things are getting done. Here at Boost, we are really big on teamwork. So what are some team members that are really critical to you being successful within all this process?
I know this is, really all of them. I mean, as I said, right. I mean, we have a small team, so, we've got to understand what our customers want. So our product, people responsible for product and product strategy have to understand what the customer needs are. And that's important for them to be involved in the sales meeting. They have to be able to articulate that all the way to the software developers. And those software developers have to understand those customer experiences really and build those products in the way that we want them built. And then, talk about people who are doing sales and marketing, and we all wear a number of different hats. I mean, they're just as important because we've got to get our product in the hands of customers and understand their needs and use cases. And we're a business too. So, those salespeople are not only important to be able to articulate that to everybody else so we can build the right solution, but, sales is paramount to keeping a business to business going. So our whole team is extremely important.
Yeah, of course. I can't agree anymore. And I think small business, you wear all the hats sometimes. And so yes, everyone is critical. So would you have any tips and tricks that have helped you be successful within that project management with all of you wearing different hats? I'm sure everybody's kind of intertwining between that project management space.
The best tip or trick that I can provide is kind of getting back into the space that I used to be in. It is about collaboration. It is about some use different tools, some don't. But the salespeople have to understand what the product people and the software development people are doing. The software development people have to understand what the sales people are doing. People have to understand, even the software have to understand how you're marketing your product. So it is about collaborating together. And whether you're using, we do use our own product. I mean, so that's a tip or trick that we use. It's more than just a digital checklist. It actually shows the work that's being done, who did it, and all of that, and all of the information around it. But whether you're using our product, another product, or Excel spreadsheets, being able to talk about it and collaborate together and everybody understand it is paramount and has always been the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, and I love that because, you're not relying on just one person to get a job done. You have multiple people who know how to do various jobs so that if somebody is, we'll say, out or, whatever the situation may be, somebody can pick up that slack, if you will, and it will still continue to move smoothly, basically.
Right.
So, and I want to just pivot a little bit. You are the CEO and founder of Notiphy, and as a leader, what makes you excited about your company that brings to the table? What does your company bring to the table that really excites you? I guess I should say.
I think there's a few things. I mean, as I said previously, a lot of these workers in manufacturing companies that have been around for a long time have been doing things the same way. I mean, most of them are still using paper job travelers and orders and cash sheets. And so we're helping those workers understand, be more productive, be more efficient with their time, safer, right? I mean, they log in, see the safety information, there's pictures, there's videos if they need refreshers. You're making them more accountable to those safety measures, where if there was nothing there, they might not think about it, but they're having to stop for a second, look at the safety procedures. So I think that is very important. So helping them, just be better at their jobs and safer at their jobs. We're helping managers, right? We're helping management understand more about their business, be able to make more data-driven decisions, which in this day and age, if you're not making data-driven decisions, you're probably behind, right? I mean, there's competitors that are probably doing things better than you. So there are a lot of tools that are being used, but I think with Notiphy, there are tools about what your people are doing that you probably were invisible to you at one point, and now we're helping to make those visible for them. And I'd say, I'm sorry, the last thing I would probably say that excites me, and I mentioned this previously, is that realization by a lot of these companies that technology and digitization and putting technology in the hands of those workers is very important and is something that I think a lot of people now are starting to look at more than they did before.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. So with all that said, what are some challenges that you face in today's market as a business leader? And then what are some other things that you wish you would have known before taking the position as a leader?
Again, it's just, unfortunately, the biggest challenge is probably the most obvious one that we see in every industry, and it does come down to people right now, right? I mean, one of the biggest challenges is making sure that we have the right people, right? We have to have the right people with the right qualifications that is not always easy to get these days, right? I mean, it's very challenging. There seems to be fewer people out there in the market looking for jobs, so it's very competitive out there, and that's a challenge not only for us internally, but that's a challenge in working with our customers, because you can imagine that having fewer heads puts them at a disadvantage. They're all pretty busy. I mean, the market's good for a lot of our customers, and so getting them to the table to talk about a solution is sometimes a very big challenge, because they're worried about just getting product out for their customers and their own business. And so people are driving a lot of the people issues are driving a lot of the challenges right now in the market, not only for us internally, but even just working with our customers.
Yeah. And then what are some common challenges that you see your clients facing in today's environment, given that the industry is doing well?
Some of the common challenges that again, besides the people is the paper documentation, right? I mean, it's very, very difficult to be a data-driven company with paper documentation. And so that's a big challenge. They've been doing it for however many years they've been in business. Many of these manufacturers or warehouse distribution have been doing it, for 30, 40 plus years. And so doing things the old way is probably one, and stagnation is probably the biggest challenge and the biggest competition that we face. And so trying to be able to show them that our system is flexible and adaptable, that they can do things very similarly how they're doing today, just inside of a tablet, as opposed to on a piece of paper on a clipboard, is extremely important for us to help them sort of get out of some of those challenges that they're having.
Yeah, that's great. And it definitely will increase, like we mentioned before, productivity, but also growth within that organization that they're working specifically off real-time data. So I think my last question would be, what else should we know about your industry or your business that maybe, a lot of us don't know, or a lot of us don't recognize?
I think one of the things that's very important, when you read a lot of articles about whether it's in industrial workspace, whether it's manufacturing or warehouse distribution, you hear so much about technology, right? But a lot of it's towards robotics, and some of it is around replacing people and doing things more, doing things faster and using using technology in that way. But what I think is people don't realize is that even with all of that going on, and even in the future, 70% of the work is still going to be done by people. And so a lot of the technology out there, even ERPs that are, that are there to help you run your business, manage your inventory, manage your financial books, all of manage your staffing and things, it is not focused on making the people better. And that's something that we are really trying to, accomplish for companies, because there's still so much data and so much information in what the people are doing on not only a day-to-day basis, on an hour-to-hour basis, that can be extracted from the companies to understand that information and to make them better. And so that's where we're focused on. We're focused on the people, technology for those workers, but it ultimately, you have to benefit the company as well, right? Because they're the ones that are paying for it. And so being able to provide them that data is extremely important.
Yeah, I love that. And, like you mentioned, there is a lot of AI and robotics coming along, but at the end of the day, people still need to fix the robotics. So I think by giving them that technology to get the real data, but also kind of combining human labor with robotic labor, or technology labor, you're going to start being able to grow even more, because now you have people that are able to get that real data, make said changes to the technology, and then everybody continues to work well together. Everyone and technology works well together. So,
Right.
Well, Bob, I really want to thank you for your time in getting to know Notiphy. I think what you're doing is fantastic, and I think it's going to change a lot of the manufacturing industry. So, Bob, again, thank you. And is there a way anybody can get a hold of you if they would like to talk with Notiphy?
Absolutely. I mean, you can go to our website, which is Notiphy, Notiphy.io, and you can schedule a demo or fill out a contact sheet form, and we can contact you immediately. Or please feel free to email me at bwise, BWISE@notiphy.io. And Nikki, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes, of course. Thanks, Bob, and we'll talk soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.